Hello and welcome to this week's Cookeville City Update. I am City Councilman Chad Gilbert. Last week, it was announced that Moody's Investor Services has upgraded the City of Cookeville's bond rating from AA2 to AA1. Moody's attributed our rating improvement to, quote, the city's robust financial position and underscored by prudent management, ample reserves and liquidity, and strong local tax revenue streams. This is great news for our citizens, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to delve into the City of Cookeville's finances and budgeting processes. With me today to discuss the city's finances is Director of Finance Department, Brenda Imel. Brenda, welcome. I understand you've been with the city for 21 years. Would you mind telling us a little bit about the budget and the financial status of the city?
So happy to be here talking with you, Chad. And through our annual budget, the city manages 16 different kind of funds, including the general fund, special revenue funds, and the proprietary funds, which include our utilities. The general fund is the primary operating fund of the general government. It is where we account for the police, fire, public works, community development, leisure services, parks and maintenance, and the administrative departments. The general fund has an operating budget for fiscal year 25 of approximately $38 million. Revenues to provide these important services to the community come primarily from local taxes. The primary source of the revenue for the city's general fund is the local option sales tax, which accounts for 52% of our budget.
Wow, that really is significant. We are fortunate to serve as a regional hub for shopping, dining, entertainment. Our diverse and growing local economy benefits greatly from those that visit our city daily. Can you give us some idea of how sales tax have actually grown recently?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So over the past 5 years, local sales tax revenue in Cookeville has grown by 40% and by over 78% over a 10-year period back to 2014. The growth has not only benefited the city, but also the county. I'm not sure if you realize this, but the local portion of the 9.75% sales tax is 2.75%. However, Cookeville keeps less than 39% of this revenue. Nearly 60% of the local option sales tax revenue generated in our city goes to the county, with the bulk of that required to go to school funding. In fiscal year 24, $48.4 million in local sales tax was collected within our city. Cookeville received $19.4 million of that, and Putnam County received $28.5 million, and the remainder, about $550,000, was paid to the state for administrative cost. Strong sales tax also allows us to keep our property taxes low. Our property tax rate of 92 cents is one of the lower rates for cities of our size within the state. Revenue from the property taxes account for about 20% of the general fund revenues. In fiscal year 24, a little more than $11 million was generated from the property tax. Property taxes are based on the assessed value of your property. Property values are determined by the Putnam County Property Assessor, and since 2019, values for locally assessed property have grown by nearly 40%. During the last 5 years, we have seen larger budget surpluses in the general fund than has been typical in the past. This has allowed us to build reserves necessary for our growing community. More than $20 million has been added to the general fund balance since 2019. But having a significant portion of our general fund revenues dependent on sales tax puts that revenue stream subject to the ups and downs of the economy. But having that strong fund balance allows us to weather the downturns without cutting services during those times. While our revenues have grown significantly over the past few years, just like everyone else, so have our expenses. We've seen the cost of fire trucks and heavy equipment nearly double in some cases. Fortunately, the revenue growth has allowed us to absorb these inflationary costs and still be able to significantly increase employee wages, and in particular for our first responders. For example, since 2020, starting pay for a police officer has increased from $32,947 to $50,960.
Brenda, thank you for that. It's so good to hear the numbers and the information behind the numbers. This council realizes our city truly is blessed, not only fiscally, as you discussed, but with tremendously dedicated employees such as yourself, and we thank you for that. And due to our revenue growth and sound fiscal management, we are also able to fund some of the most significant capital improvement projects we've ever seen. These include major street improvements and the soon-to-start construction of 2 new fire stations. Many more projects have been identified, and continued economic growth is vital to making these happen. We encourage you to continue to shop locally, keeping your tax dollars here in Cookeville, especially as the holiday season approaches. That's it for this week's Cookeville City Update. Because of the Thanksgiving break, we won't be releasing a new video next week. Instead, join us on December 3rd for our next video update. Thank you and happy Thanksgiving, Cookeville.